I'm Lisa Marie Falvo. Let's get started with the weather and meteorologist Mike Favetta as Tropical Storm Elsa moves through our state.
Hi, good morning, everyone. We had some really incredible weather yesterday with impressive flooding and hail. In fact, I want to show you a wrap-up of some of the hailstones that were captured by some of our very own viewers. Okay, this one happens to be my brother-in-law up in Hillsdale. Look at the size of that hailstone, 2.5 inches in diameter up in Bergen County. And that was followed by the hail littering the lawn. Here you can see the lawn showing all of the hailstones in the grass. That was followed by the flash flooding. And Kara showed me this video of Harrison Avenue in Nutley and the river of water rushing down to the basin, and that's what prompted the flash flood warning yesterday morning. So obviously Elsa just exacerbating that flooding, but today, if we look at our graphics, the temperatures will continue to climb back up into the 80s with Elsa pretty much wrapping up. Most of the damage is done, and I think we'll enjoy a calmer afternoon, especially as we go forward across the state today. So 86 degrees is your high in Newark, 84 in Howell. Anticipate another round of scattered storms this evening, and that will set the stage for, I think, a little bit of wet weather even for the start of the weekend. Sunday is our next opportunity of rain. That's after a nice calm day tomorrow, but overall, it's going to look quite warm for next week, so stick around for that 7-day forecast. Give you the details on the hot weather ahead coming up in a few minutes.
Thank you so much, Mike. Kara, how do you prepare for storms like this?
I usually don't, but I also, because I'm already a home cook, my house is generally like stocked with food. So I'm not one to be like, oh, I got to rush to the store and get something in case I'm stuck in. I don't know. We're just kind of, I'm always ready.
You're always ready. Yeah. And I'm the opposite. Although I guess having a baby now, you have to have things ready. But if it was just me, wing it as per everything else in my life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, so I don't necessarily make a conscious effort to get ready for anything like this. I'm really, as long as I know like my parents are squared away and everything like that, I'm like, all right, I'm good. There's a can of beans in the pantry. I'll live.
The one thing we did do, we installed an in-home generator.
Oh, nice.
My brother is an electrician, so I have the hookup, no pun intended. But we got that installed about 2 months ago. And, we're not really in a power outage neighborhood, but I mean, even if you're out for a couple hours, it's like life or death, it feels
we all lived through Sandy. So yes. I feel like so many of it, like, you're like that once in a lifetime storm that seems to come around more than once in a lifetime these days. If it knocks you out even for a day, it's like, oh man, what am I going to do now? Yeah, that would probably be the one thing that I would look into investing in for sure.
I mean, and look at this hurricane/tropical storm. We're only at the beginning of July. What are the next 3-4 months going to look like?
And technically the season goes through November, officially. So it's like, okay, we got some time on this one.
Exactly.
Well, listen, Lise, did you see this wild video out of South Jersey? A Mount Laurel man appeared in court Tuesday after being arrested for allegedly shouting offensive language and racial slurs at his neighbor. I saw this video. It's insane. According to the Mount Laurel police, 45-year-old Edward Cagney Matthews is facing several criminal charges, including harassment, biased intimidation, and trespassing after a video circulated on social media showing him shouting offensive and racial slurs at his neighbors. There was a large protest outside Matthews' home. Matthews did not speak with Channel 6 in Philly and claims he was drunk. He's currently in Burlington County Jail. I was watching this. So the reason all those people showed up at his house is he literally turned to the camera, gave his address, and was like, if you have a problem with me, come see me.
Oh my Lord.
And over 100 people turned out on his front lawn to come see him.
He's using the drunk excuse. You're an adult. Be a man.
But also I feel like, drunk is, poor choices. But, if you're saying, okay, I was drunk and I was without inhibitions and this is what came out, that's still who you really are.
Exactly.
You're still an awful human being.
Yeah. Terrible.
So, and talk to your neighbors like that. I mean, you have to, at the end of the day, you still have to share some degree of space with your neighbors. So to speak to them like that, it's like, why don't you watch it? Even if you don't like them, just be quiet, cordial at best. I mean, you don't have to harass them.
I don't know what goes through people's minds sometimes. But moving on, Newark police say they have arrested a bank robbery suspect who was caught on surveillance video. Take a look. You can see the red dye pack explode during his escape. Newark police said a detective spotted the 27-year-old man Monday on the street and arrested him. He faces robbery and weapons charges. Police say he allegedly walked into a Capital One branch on Saturday and passed a note to a teller saying he had a gun and demanding money. Not the brightest robber to ever work in the game, right?
That color kind of matches my shirt. He might have been the brightest one by the time he was done with that dye pack.
Yeah.
I think that's such a great, the dye packs always get me. Like I feel like it's a simple thing that's a really good idea. It's like, hello, here's your guy.
Yeah.
All right, Lise. Well, New Jersey's Attorney General's office launched a state police traffic stop dashboard, opening up transparency to traffic stops. This enables the public to see info about more than 6 million traffic stops conducted by the state police over a period of more than 10 years. You can check it at njoag.gov/traffic stops. I kind of wonder why you would want to look into that, though.
I bet you there are people that will sit at their computer for hours poring over that data.
And go down this rabbit hole.
Yes.
I feel like for most people, traffic stops are embarrassing. And like, like you're stopped, you're pulled over, you're causing traffic. There's a light on you. The cops are running. You're like, ugh. It's already like an embarrassing moment.
And nerve-wracking.
And like, oh, now here's a list of all of them. I don't know. Well,
I don't hope that you're not going to be pulled over in your electric car. The state is once again offering $5,000 rebates for purchasing one. The program proved to be so popular, it ran out of money last year. Governor Murphy set a goal to register 330,000 electric vehicles in New Jersey by 2025 to reduce the state's carbon emissions. So far, there are only 41,000 EVs registered. Would you get an electric car?
I would. And I've seen a couple, like the new, I think a Ford is really good. The new Ford Mustang electric and the Ford F-150 electric are both really cool looking cars, nice features. They've been getting good reviews. I'm like, I think, it really is becoming where we're going.
Yeah.
I think you're seeing more charging stations. It's becoming easier to do. Homes are more able. But my next door neighbors actually have an electric Volvo. They just pulled in the driveway and like hook it up. Like the thing that charges the car is like next to the garden hose.
Well, our executive producer, Gerald D'Amber, he has one. He loves it. They're crazy fast. And there's no sales tax on EVs, which is really cool. You know what I think needs to happen? There has to be better education because who wouldn't get one, right? I mean, when you look at the pros and cons, but I just think there's just that fear factor in the unknown.
Yeah,
so maybe
exactly.
There just has to be a better awareness campaign, maybe, test driving parties or something so people can get to know the technology and maybe they would be more apt to purchasing one.
Yeah, that would definitely be something. And I think, they'd have to organize it a little depending on, is it the dealer's job, the state's job, like who kind of pushes that. But yeah, I think, when I worked for Mini Cooper, they had, and this was several years ago, they released a limited edition electric Mini, and you had to be in a lottery to get one, but everybody who wanted one could come and test drive one. I got to drive one. It was very cool. My only thing, and I would say that because I drive a manual transmission car, like I like driving a car, and that might be the only thing, but I feel like that's still something you could mock up in an EV where it's like, you still get that feel. Some of them even come with like kind of almost like a fake motor sound because they're silent. That's the other thing. So it's like you can't hear them whether you're outside the car or inside the car. So, I feel like they could kind of mock up the experience of still driving a car, but have it be an EV.
I just love that you drive manual. That is badass.
Yeah, chicks who drive stick. No, when I was a kid, my parents both had manual transmissions. It was I was learned to drive it or not at all. So those were my options.
No, I can't say I've ever even driven one. I don't think I've ever even attempted. So
I'll teach you. It's very easy. Don't worry.
next episode, right?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we should. That would be a great video.
If it's anything like me cooking with you, it should be very interesting.
And that was a great video that we did.
Yeah.
All right, Lise. Next up, Assemblyman Andrew Zwicker is here to talk about why we can't get wine delivered here in New Jersey.
2020 felt like a dark tunnel, and while 2020 is over, the impact is not. The pandemic affected both our physical and mental health.
We started the Cody Fund for Mental Health to change lives, so we want you to know about NJ211.
It's a referral service for anyone in crisis, even children.
I'm living proof that there's light at the end of the tunnel.
And it's not a train, it's help. It's NJ211.
The American Lung Association invites you to join us outside in 2021 for our Fight for Air Climb events. Now more than ever, we need you in the fight for clean air and healthy lungs. Let's go outside and climb, because every step counts. Visit us at lung.org.
Welcome back to the New Jersey Morning Show. Let's bring in meteorologist Mike Vivetta for a check on the New Jersey weather and tropical storm Elsa.
Yeah, back to those storms from yesterday. Had some really incredible hail, the thunder, the lightning. I want to show you the video of that hail, and Hillsdale, New Jersey seemed to be the bullseye up in Bergen County. And this video shows all those hailstones falling on the pavement and just collecting there before more rain later came and washed them away. Folks that were looking outside at the cars parked under the elements were kind of worried, especially when they had all of those large 2.5-inch hailstones hitting their cars. Well, now as we look forward to a calmer start to the weekend, there could be another round of thunderstorms later this afternoon. But regarding your weekend forecast for Saturday, anticipate mostly sunny skies and temperatures that will likely rise into the low 80s, so it'll feel quite pleasant even going into our Saturday evening. Sunday starts with a little wet weather, and I think that's what will give us some rainfall early in the morning, maybe last through the middle of the day. If you plan to go to the beach, however, your surf report looking pretty ominous, specifically for the high risk of rip currents due to the ocean surf being so rough that 3 to 6 foot wave heights. That's all due to Elsa still churning up the seas. But I think you get better weather ahead for the weekend, with the weekend weather for the beaches looking much more pleasant for Saturday. But it's still important to swim in those lifeguarded zones. We'll take another check of your forecast and detail the heat on the way for the 7-day forecast. That's coming up in a few minutes.
Thanks so much, Mike.
Well, Lisa, you know, wine tops the list of favorite alcoholic beverages here in New Jersey, but our state is just one of 2 that imposes strict limits on direct-to-consumer shipments from U.S. wineries. So there's some movement on this issue in Trenton. Here to give us an update is Assemblyman Andrew Zwicker. Assemblyman, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Morning.
Thanks for joining us. So, Assemblyman, a little bit of background. Why is it so difficult to get wine delivered if you live in New Jersey?
Well, like you just said in the opening, New Jersey is one of only 2 states that says if you are a medium-sized or larger winery, you can't ship to New Jersey. And we know during this past year, which we've all struggled with because of COVID, we've had to ship so many different things to our homes, as opposed to go out to stores. It's convenient, it's easy, and it gives us a wide selection of choices. Wine is no different. But we have this old law in place that says you can't do it if for 90% of the wines. And so this movement is to say, it's time to get rid of that capacity cap and give consumers full choice.
So why was this law put in place? Was it trying to protect local businesses?
So first of all, New Jersey wines today are great. I would put a New Jersey wine up against a wine from anywhere in the country, quite honestly, anywhere in the world. But New Jersey's wine industry has not been around for that long. And so at first, the idea was, let's protect New Jersey's wine industry from the larger vineyards around the country. And that made sense. But as New Jersey's wines have matured, New Jersey's wines quality have improved, at this point, what we found is that the more wine people drink, the better it is for all, because they're going to continue to drink it from everywhere. And so it helps New Jersey to remove this capacity cap.
Okay, so then what is happening in Trenton now? Is there something that could change going forward?
Yeah, and I'm part of a bipartisan team in both the Assembly and in the Senate to simply just cut this artificial capacity cap out of current law. And what it'll mean as soon as we get this done is that no longer, and I've had this experience and other people watching me have had this experience, when you go to ship something to your home, will it ask you where you live and say, sorry, we can't ship this wine because you live in New Jersey. So it's a simple change in the law, and we're working on getting it passed in both houses.
Hey, is there anything more bipartisan than wine?
I can tell you everybody likes wine. It doesn't matter where you are in the political spectrum.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And hey, listen, if you guys get it passed, you can all celebrate with a nice glass there.
We'll clink glasses, so there's no drinking in the schoolhouse.
Oh, well, there you go. So we just do a little chin-chin, and then everybody can step outside.
Fair enough.
Guys, listen, you can learn more by visiting freethegrapes.org. Assemblyman Andrew Zwicker, thank you so much for your time this morning. We so appreciate it. So again, it's freethegrapes.org.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure talking to you both.
Have a great weekend.
Well, hopefully we'll get wine in time for the Olympics. I love myself some good summer games. And
I do.
Bruce Springsteen's daughter will be competing in them. How exciting is that?
That's very cool.
Krista Springsteen is a champion equestrian. Team USA announced Springsteen would be one of the 4 athletes making up the equestrian jumping team at the Tokyo Games starting this month. Springsteen is ranked 27th in the world and will be competing with her 12-year-old Belgium warm blood stallion named Don Juan van de Dunkhoef. I think I'm pronouncing that right.
How important is the horse's name versus the rider, though, really?
I mean, what a name that is. You would think her father would help her think of a catchier name than that, but
I don't know. I think that's very, I feel like that's a very apropos name for the sport. Like it's just a very kind of, but it's a great, I don't, did you ever ride as a kid, Lisa?
Just like at a local farm, but have you've done the jumping?
Yeah, I did. I got not very far, but I got into it for several years, and it's so to watch. I love to watch it. It's a beautiful thing to watch. It's really,
kudos to Bruce Springsteen's daughter. You know how hard you have to work to make it as an Olympian?
Yes. And in a narrow fielded sport like that, like that's not,
Yeah. Well, listen, she obviously has her parents' drive, maybe not in music, but in sports. So we'll definitely be rooting for that Jersey girl.
For sure. For sure. Hey, next up, you probably know somebody who's been hacked. It's a growing problem. We're going to talk with talk show host Marcy Hopkins about her recent experience. Stay with us. It's coming up right next.
2020 felt like a dark tunnel, and while 2020 is over, the impact is not. The pandemic affected both our physical and mental health.
We started the Cody Fund for Mental Health to change lives, so we want you to know about NJ211.
It's a referral service for anyone in crisis, even children.
I'm living proof that there's light at the end of the tunnel.
And it's not a train, it's help. It's NJ211.
The American Lung Association invites you to join us outside in 2021 for our Fight for Air Climb events. Now more than ever, we need you in the fight for clean air and healthy lungs. Let's go outside and climb, because every step counts. Visit us at lung.org.
Welcome back to the New Jersey Morning Show. Let's get a check of the weather with meteorologist Mike Favetta.
You know, so many folks really want to get out and enjoy the pleasant weather. I think there'll be some brighter afternoons ahead, specifically for Saturday. And we'll take a look at that UV forecast. Now that we've passed the summer solstice and head into the rest of the summer season, yes, the daylight hours are slowly getting shorter. They really drop off quickly, especially as we go into September. But with the UV index of an 8 on Saturday, you've got a great day all day long with less humidity, too, to get out and enjoy. Sunday, however, brings back more of the clouds with just a UV index of a 5. So I think a little bit more of an issue there for those that may want to get out and enjoy some sun on Sunday. Not looking to be the best deal. We'll take a look at that 7-day forecast, though. Plenty of sunshine on the way for Monday. There is a risk of an afternoon scattered storm, even Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But notice the humidity comes back and temperatures soar yet again back up into the 90s about a week from now. So it's a gradual climb to the uncomfortable weather that we've become so accustomed to here in New Jersey, especially over the last few days, and specifically when there's not much movement to the air and the storms aren't really moving anywhere. We could see another round of the severe weather each afternoon, and just like the hailstorms that we saw yesterday across portions of New Jersey. We'll take another look of the 7-day forecast coming up.
Thank you so much, Mike.
Former President Donald Trump filed class action lawsuits Wednesday against Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg, Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey, and Google CEO Sundar Pichai. This is the latest in Trump's battle with Twitter and Facebook over free speech and censorship. The suit seeks immediate relief to allow the prompt restoration of Trump's social media accounts.
We're asking the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida to order an immediate halt to social media companies' illegal, shameful censorship of the American people, and that's exactly what they are doing. We're demanding an end to the shadow banning, a stop to the silencing, and a stop to the blacklisting, banishing, and canceling that you know so well.
He also said he is asking the court to impose punitive damages on the 3 social media giants. Right now, he is completely banned from Twitter and is banned for Facebook for another 2 years. The class action lawsuits would also enable Trump to sue the tech CEOs on behalf of a broader group of people who he says have been censored by biased policies.
So much to say there, and I'm not going to say.
I have a Trump story, believe it or not, really fast.
Do you? Go for it.
My cousin met him yesterday.
Really?
He was delivering generators to the golf club, and the clubhouse manager invited the crew to have lunch. So they were out back having lunch, and President Trump walked by with Secret Service. My cousin went up to him, and he's jacked. I call him Vin Diesel because I don't.
Okay.
And my cousin Frankie is like, "Oh, Mr. President." And he said, are you here to beat me up? Kidding around. And he's like, "No, I just want a picture." He spoke with Trump for 5 minutes. I have to say, my cousin said he was very nice in person. And, you know, they bantered a little bit about 2024. He teased there might be a comeback. So I don't know if we're breaking news here on the New Jersey Morning Show. But
apparently we need to have your cousin on because he's come up twice already.
different cousin.
Different cousins? Oh, okay.
Different cousin. But so, you know, he was in jovial spirits as of yesterday afternoon.
Hey, there you go. There you go. Well, I mean, I imagine if you're on your own golf course, you're probably in a good place.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, listen, Lisa, we've got to bring on our friend here. We've been hearing a lot about hackings recently, particularly the recent oil pipeline, major hacking last weekend on tech companies. It's often done through phishing, where a target is contacted by email, phone, or text by someone posing as a legitimate institution or business. They lure people into providing sensitive data like passwords, or even bank account numbers or credit card access. Joining us now to tell her story is the host of Wake Up with Marcy, Marcy Hopkins. Good morning, Marcy. How are you?
Good morning, guys. You know what? I did get scammed and this did happen to me, but I'm just so grateful to be on and help educate others because this is happening to everyone out there. It's crazy.
Yeah. So Marcy, it was your Instagram account that was hacked, right? Can you tell us what happened?
Yeah. So literally I was scammed. Okay. So like you said, these big businesses are vulnerable, and we are vulnerable because there are people out there that are DMing us through these social media sites. So what happened is on Instagram, I was DM'd about a copyright infringement. So immediately there's my emotions, right? I get scared. I feel bad. Like, what have I done? Right. And so I started looking through it. I started doing exactly what they asked me to do because it looked so professional, claim number, all of this. And I gave my Instagram handle, I gave my password, and I gave my email. And that gave them access to my account. They stole the account. Then they started WhatsApping me, asking me for money. Then I did not give them money. And now they have taken over my account. I had over 26,000 followers. And they are now trying to scam all of my followers with the same scam that they got me on, which was the copyright infringement. Yeah. And so they have renamed it to Insta Objections Live. And it's just crazy. I keep getting DMs from other people like, I think you've been hacked. This is happening. Absolutely. And I'm just trying to get the word out there to let people know, please don't fall victim to this like me.
And Marcy, it's so funny. I have to tell you, I have received a similar email in terms of copyright. And I was also nervous, but for me, I guess just the way it came through, they did it through my website. And there was something off about it in my mind. And so I was like, I'm not clicking this. I was like, so I'll wait till the cops show up.
Yeah, and that's, what things I've learned. No big business is going to be asking for your password. So right there, don't ever give your password to somebody like that. There's so many red flags when I went back and looked at it and talk to people. Like if somebody's coming after you or claiming something that's just too good to be true, or you're like, what have I done? I can't believe I did this. Start talking to people and you will get the help and you will see that you do not need to fall victim to this like I did.
Yeah. Marcy, what are the chances in getting your account back?
So I do have people that are working with me. I'm going to have actually on my show, I'm going to have an internet lawyer, attorney, Andrew Rosso, on July 17th to talk about this. What can we do, right? How can we get our accounts back? What to look for and who's doing this. So he is now trying to get my account back right now. I have to be honest, I am a little afraid to get that account back. I'm just not sure. I have started a new account at official Wake Up with Marcy _. I'm starting all over, but I'm a little afraid. But I do know people do get their accounts back. So I know it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, but to build up your account to 26,000 followers, that's so much hard work, sweat equity. It's heartbreaking. I know that we have a clip of your interview from your show coming up. Let's take a look.
Facebook or Instagram, as you know, Facebook owns Instagram. They will never reach out to you in a DM. They will never notify you of a copyright violation like that in a DM or WhatsApp. They will almost always come from an official @FB or @Facebook.com email from their legal counsel or somebody from their ad team to notify you that there could be a problem. But this will never happen through these other platforms. And if you see that, ignore it, block, report it, do not answer.
Wow.
Now, Marcy, in your case, it was social media, but we know people that have gotten or been scammed, money out of their bank accounts, holding accounts hostage. What's something that you've learned since this happened to you that you want to share with anybody?
Well, listen, you've just really got to be on your toes with this stuff. And I hate to say that, it's hard to trust people. It's hard to trust what you receive. Like I just received another DM about something and I reached out to the attorney, like, is this real? Like, I don't know what to believe anymore. So I just want to say, no matter, the phone calls you get about sending money, somebody's asking you for money over the phone, don't send it. Ask them to mail you something. If somebody tells you something that's too good to be true, like you won $5 million, it's too good to be true. They're not going to call you. You know, there's going to be formal ways that they reach out to you. Just like Andrew just said, nobody is going to reach out through a DM or, you know, like that's how we chat. There's no professional company that's going to be out there sending important information through a DM. So I don't want us to lose trust or faith in other people. We just need to be more cognizant of our reaction to what we receive, information we receive, and just be, I don't want to say smarter because we're smart. We are smart people. They're preying on us, and this is not our fault. But just to be a little more careful and talk to other people about it.
You know, Marcy, you bring up something so important about the telephone calls and not falling prey. So I was victim of a scam a few years ago. Mm-hmm. I received a call and someone said, are you, Latino is my maiden name, so are you Pete Latino's sister? Mm-hmm. And I said, yeah. The person said, your brother has been in a car accident. And of course, I'm like, what? Where are you? Oh, he's in Elizabeth. Described his van. I mean, everything.
Wow.
So, of course, my emotions were ramped up.
Right.
And they said, but here's the problem. Your brother hit into us. We're illegal immigrants. He called the cops. We've kidnapped him. And now we're holding him. I'm like, wait, what? And they told me, like, where in Elizabeth they were holding him. They're like, if you hang up, we're going to shoot him.
Oh my God.
It was 2 hours of madness.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, I, enlisted the help of Fairfield Police. They came to my rescue. I'm texting the police chief. So he called my brother while I was on the phone with him, and my brother picks up, I'm on Elizabeth. This is a car accident. 2 hours. I was going to MoneyGram at a CVS to send these people money so I can get my brother back.
Yeah.
So they prey on your emotions.
Yes.
So, and they give you worst case scenarios. So then you're blinded by everything else that they're saying.
And they really, it is so true. They really prey on the elder. Because my grandmother gets calls about winning money. I was actually there in Houston. I live here in New Jersey and from Houston. I was there visiting, and she received a call that her grandson had been in a car accident. My son. Oh. I'm like, he's not of age to drive, Grandma. It's all okay. This is a scam, right? There's just so many scams happening out there, and it's all the time. And we just need to be there to help one another. And like, we're doing the best thing that we can do is get the education out there to people and support those around you that are maybe potentially falling victim to this or have fallen victim. Like, it's no one's fault.
No.
So we just need to be there to help each other.
Yeah. Absolutely. And Marcy, kudos to you for sharing this and speaking out, because I think a lot of people, once they figure this out, and you too, Lisa, anybody, there's a level of embarrassment or even said like, oh man, how did they get me? So again, kudos to you for saying, you know what? Yeah, this happened to me. Here's what I want you to know about it. Let's get people educated. So I think, once again, like you said, we're doing the best thing we can here.
Yeah. And just another thing, like if you have any questions, call an internet attorney or call the police or, call anyone that you think that could potentially help you. Ask these questions. Don't just jump into it like I did. And let me tell you, that attorney also was scammed.
Oh, no kidding.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, listen, guys, you can catch Wake Up with Marcy every Saturday at 10 a.m. on WLNY 1055 in the New York area and right here on NJ On Air. And again, she'll have that full interview with the attorney coming up on her show. So again, Wake Up with Marcy Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Marcy, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you have an amazing weekend, and I hope this all gets straightened out for you in the best way possible.
Thank you. And Lisa Marie, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Marcy.
Bye, Marcy. Very scary stuff. I hope she gets everything restored back to normal very soon.
Yeah.
So, Kara, a lot of people in New Jersey are super excited about this. The prequel to The Sopranos, The Many Saints of Newark. The show is about young Tony Soprano growing up in one of the most tumultuous eras in Newark's history, becoming a man just as rival gangsters begin to rise up and challenge the all-powerful DeMeo crime family's hold over the increasingly race-torn city. Let's watch part of the trailer.
When I was a kid, guys like me were brought up to follow codes.
Hey, jerk off. What'd you say?
What? Antonio Soprano.
I wonder if I can talk to you alone for a moment, Mrs. Soprano.
On the basis of the Sanford Binet, he's high IQ.
You can't prove it by me. He's got a D+ average.
Well, he doesn't apply himself, but he is smart. The results tell us. He's a leader.
I can't wait.
I'm so excited. And that trailer made the internet rounds earlier this week. And it was it's like chills and so exciting. And, again, being from New Jersey, being huge fans of Sopranos, being huge fans of the late James Gandolfini. I mean, the whole thing is just very exciting.
The fact that his son followed in his footsteps and could play the young Tony Soprano. I mean,
and looks exactly like him.
I mean, it's his clone. The
Yes.
eyes, everything. When that opening shot came up, I got chills when you heard James's voice over his son's face. So, what I think is really beautiful too, the cast members from The Sopranos are all on board. They were all sharing in the excitement and shared the trailers on their social media.
Yes.
So even though they're not in the movie per se, it really is one big happy family. And I think that's really beautiful. I cannot wait. And I think it's really cool that you don't have to go to theaters to see this movie. It will also be available on HBO Max. So,
yeah, and I think that's one of those things that we've really learned from the pandemic is that, people will, you're just as likely to stay home and rent a movie as you are to pay the fee and go out for one. So,
I mean, of course you miss the experience, but I'm not going to a movie theater right now.
I was going to say, I have to tell you, even prior to the pandemic, like the movie theater experience was not necessarily something I looked forward to.
Really? No, I look forward to
it's not my favorite. Not
Really?
my favorite.
Okay.
You know what? There's popcorn available at the Stop and Shop. I'll make my own. I'm like, no, that's okay. I'd rather be on my couch in my pajamas where I know there's no bed bugs and just and not other people and be okay.
True. Well, we look forward to that movie. And, between you and I think we could pull a connection or two to get someone from the movie to come on and talk about the show as the premiere gets closer.
I bet you we could swing something like that. I'm pretty sure we can manage.
I'm sure. So, Kara, you have exciting news that you'd like to share.
Yeah, well, I would just like to invite everybody to a pop-up dinner that I am doing with Chef Jesse Jones. It's going to be next Saturday, July 17th. It's going to be at the event space at Denigris Vinegars in Totowa, New Jersey. Tickets are available on my website, caradefalco.com. You just go into the shop section and it'll say pop-up dinner and you'll see that same picture there, Chef Jesse and I. And I'm really excited. This, again, was something that I had started during the pandemic. I kind of took a break through the holidays and began to put it back together now. So we were really kind of combining, we've had Chef Jesse on the show a couple of times. He does that Southern soulful food style of cooking. Obviously I do Italian and Italian American food. So we really sat down and worked out how can we combine those two things on a plate and really kind of showcase our personalities and the similarities even between the two and how, food kind of creates this flow of culture and a way to, tell a story and share a conversation. So we've got tickets still available. Again, they're available on my website. It's next Saturday, July 17th in Totowa. And I would just like to invite everybody, please, log on, grab your tickets. We'd love to see you. Chef Jesse and I are always happy to cook for you. And he's a show. I mean, again, we've had him on the show. The man is an entire routine all in himself.
Yes. Oh, it's going to be very entertaining. You get dinner and a show with the two of you together.
Dinner and show, absolutely. Yeah, it's like better than hibachi. So definitely, please come out. I'd love to see everybody. And I appreciate it being able to talk about it here. So thanks to our producer, Gerald, as well.
So next, how New Jersey state budget is helping some local community programs.
2020 felt like a dark tunnel, and while 2020 is over, the impact is not. The pandemic affected both our physical and mental health.
We started the Cody Fund for Mental Health to change lives, so we want you to know about NJ211.
It's a referral service for anyone in crisis, even children.
I'm living proof that there's light at the end of the tunnel.
And it's not a train, it's help. It's NJ211.
The American Lung Association invites you to join us outside in 2021 for our Fight for Air Climb events. Now more than ever, we need you in the fight for clean air and healthy lungs. Let's go outside and climb, because every step counts. Visit us at lung.org.
Welcome back to the New Jersey Morning Show. Let's check in with meteorologist Mike Favetta with your New Jersey weather forecast.
So if you think we're done with Elsa's remnants, there's actually another round of storms that comes in later on this afternoon. Technically not related to Elsa, but could fire off a few rounds of rain, thunder, and lightning, and that poses issues, especially if you want to do any outdoor dining. Although it kind of felt like Florida the last few evenings with the oppressive heat and humidity, so maybe staying indoors in the air conditioning might be for you. Regardless, take a look at the weather menu with the weather forecast looking a bit stormy again later on this evening. Of course, after all of the morning rains we had and the winds from Elsa, it looks brighter by tomorrow. So on the 7-day forecast, your Saturday plans look a whole lot better, especially as we go forward in time into Saturday evening. But Sunday likely has a few morning showers that could linger into the afternoon. There might be some late day clearing. It's all about the heat, haze, and humidity that return on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday as we gradually climb back up into the upper 80s and low 90s. The high humidity, it's back, especially as we enter the dog days of summer, which are approaching very quickly. We'll take another check of your New Jersey forecast coming up in a few minutes.
Mike, thank you so much. Oh, dog days of summer just sounds hot and humid. I'm like,
This
dreading
summer
it already.
Brutal so far.
Brutal, for sure.
Brutal. And, you know, you can't take a 4-month-old outside in this because, you know, she can't drink water yet. So I'm
Yeah.
just stuck in the house. It's like winter all over again.
Oh, poor thing.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully it breaks soon. Mike, gotta give us good news next week.
I know.
So Governor Murphy recently signed a $46.4 billion budget. You may be wondering, where does all of that money go? Some of the money goes to help organizations such as Easter Seals NJ with a $25 million increase in funding for dehabilitation and community inclusion programs. Joining us now is Jacob Kaplan, Advocacy Manager for Easter Seals New Jersey. Good morning, Jacob. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
So first, tell us about Easter Seals and your mission.
Sure. So Easter Seals is a nonprofit service agency. We provide care to about 5,000 New Jerseyans each year living with intellectual disabilities, mental health challenges. We also provide services for deaf and hard of hearing and elderly, not elderly, but retiree and pre-retiree employment through a federal CSEP program. So we provide a broad range of services throughout the state. We've been active nationally for about 100 years now, and we've been in New Jersey for about 70 of those years. And we provide services in all 21 counties, and we're just, we work hard to make sure that we can provide services to some of our most vulnerable residents. And it's been especially challenging over the past year with the pandemic, but our mission has never been more important. And that's why we fought so hard for the funding that you mentioned.
Jacob, now, so again, that funding, the money from the state budget, some of it's going to help with your dehabilitation program. What happens with this program?
So dehabilitation is a program that is basically adult daycare for individuals with intellectual disabilities. This program transitioned from what was called a contract payment model to a fee-for-service payment model. And when that transition happened, it became very clear that the program was dramatically underfunded. And this was back in 2017, 2018. So we've been fighting on this issue for a long time. But because of the pandemic, our program sites were closed for over a year. And it really put a lot of strain on the families of these program participants and on the program participants themselves. So it's really critical that in this year that we can bounce back strong and have an accessible and safe reopening. So that's why we were very fortunate to have partners in the legislature and in the governor's office who are willing to work with us to get this additional funding for our program.
That's really, really beautiful work that you do. I know the money is also helping with things like rental subsidies.
Yes, so there is an additional, I believe it's $5 million for rental subsidies for individuals with mental health challenges. So that will help keep people in their homes, especially as the foreclosure and eviction moratoriums end. So it's important that we support this population because they thrive when they have a secure and safe environment. And avoiding homelessness is a top priority for this community and for our organization. So this additional funding will certainly be very helpful as we push that mission.
And Jacob, we've actually had some folks here on the show from the Division of Deaf and Hard of Hearing. They're also getting some help here as well.
Yes, so for the first time in a while, they've actually seen a funding increase of $500,000. That money will allow them to help with placement in services, acquiring adaptive technologies. We provide employment services through our programs for individuals with hearing loss and who are deaf and hard of hearing. So this money will go a long way to ensuring that, as our economy bounces back, that all workers of all ability levels are able to be included in the recovery. Additionally, there's money to increase the rate for what's called supported employment, which enables people to have with disabilities to have support in the workplace so that companies are able to have adaptive technologies and have an understanding of what is needed to hire people with disabilities so that they can be parts of their community and be an active part of the workforce. So, this budget is very good for helping individuals, whether it be through the rehabilitation programs that we mentioned, that will enable people who have loved ones in these programs to go back to work, go back to school, not have to worry about the daytime activities of their loved ones who live with a disability. It would be good for individuals who are deaf and hard of hearing, trying to get employment or simply just get adaptive technologies that will enable their well-being. And it will also help keep people in their homes. It will help with a broad range of services for individuals living with disabilities and mental health challenges. Especially as, like I mentioned, we recover from COVID-19, which has been so devastating to our state and to our country, but the impacts have been particularly hard felt on vulnerable communities such as individuals with disabilities. So we want to make sure that, in 2021 and 2022, we can bounce back strong, that Easter Seals is able to be there for the individuals who rely on us, and that we're able to provide safe and accessible care. And this budget goes a long way to accomplishing those goals.
Jacob, thank you so much. Where can people learn more about Easter Seals?
So you can learn more about Easter Seals on our website, nj.easterseals.com. And you can learn about our advocacy programs and all the services that we can provide to individuals with disabilities. If anyone has any issues, any questions, they can always reach out to us on our website. We're always available, always happy to provide services to New Jerseyans in need.
Thank you so much, Jacob, for coming on and sharing the Easter Seals mission.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate your time.
Have a great weekend.
Well, that just about wraps it up here. Jam-packed, fun show here this morning. Carrie, any plans this weekend?
I think we're going to try to squeeze in a beach day for tomorrow, since the weather looks like it's going to hold out, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. I hope the pool will be in good shape for tomorrow because tomorrow looks perfect. The temperatures look perfect, but with all this rain, we have to figure all that out with the chlorine.
Yeah, the pool's going to be a little chilly. I think actually, well, the ocean water probably is going to be too. We'd have to check with Mike on that one.
Exactly.
But yeah. Listen, thank you to all of our guests for coming on today, sharing their stories and their time with us this morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. Again, the New Jersey Morning Show live every Friday morning starting at 9 a.m. here on NJ On Air, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We will see you guys next week. Have a fantastic weekend.